In today's episode, we're sharing how to stay safe at festivals without losing the joy of the experience. Welcome to Self-Defense for Women, Live an Empowered Life, the podcast that helps you stay safe, feel strong and take control of your personal security, both physically and emotionally. I'm Julie Waite, women's advocate, and alongside me is Dean Josham, security expert with 30 years experience and former bodyguard to A-list stars like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Together, we co-founded Streetwise Defence, and we're here to give you real-world safety strategies, expert insights and practical tips that help you feel more confident wherever life takes you. Before we dive in, a quick favour. If you find this episode helpful, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us reach more people like you. So let's get started. I've got some statistics to share about this. This is from a YouGov study in 2018 of 3,400 adults, and it said that 30% of female festival goers experienced unwanted sexual behaviour. 17% of women under 40 were sexually assaulted. 6% were assaulted while they were unconscious. 2% were raped at a festival. 29% experienced forceful dancing. 23% faced verbal sexual harassment, and 11% were flashed. And then from a Durham Law School survey in 2022, it says that 34% of women reported sexual harassment or assault at festivals. And then I guess in wider news, we look at something like the Notting Hill Carnival where there were 10 stabbings. Also, there was the Park Life Festival 2024 where 52 people were arrested after a huge brawl broke out in the festival between a big group of men. So, Dean, when you hear numbers and statistics like this, what goes through your mind?
God, so many
head.
words. Yeah, I mean, I just lost words, really, because you just think, really? But we have to be, this is a reality we've got to deal with, like I always keep banging on about. You need to know these statistics to go, okay, they're the elements that are out there. Predators will target these certain places because it's an opportunity, isn't it? You had drugs and alcohol. People can use that as an excuse. People can use that knowing that people are going to be drunk or on drugs or whatever and not in their normal state. So, people change, opportunities change, and that's where bad predators will go because it creates a chance, an opportunity to do these horrible, horrific things. As uncomfortable as the statistics are, you've got to know them. So take the positive from it, if there is a positive, to go, okay, that's where the dangers are, that's what's going on, right, I need to be aware and I need to look at it in a perspective of how do I go about enjoying myself, but also realise there is a danger. And I think that's just the reality. As soon as you walk out the door, there's a danger, isn't there?
Yeah.
We're not living in this utopia world of everything's fine. And that's the reality. We're not there yet, and venues and places create an opportunity.
Yeah. And I didn't even mention thefts there. That was more just, assault and harassment of women at festivals. But I know there's a lot of theft at festivals as well, because again, people are leaving things in tents, people are drunk, people are having a good time. And it's like you say, anytime you're going to have large numbers of people who are distracted, unfortunately, you will get people that will go just with doing these horrible things in mind. And then also you'll get opportunistic people who maybe wouldn't normally do that kind of thing, but they've had too many drinks and they're not acting like themselves and they do something really stupid. So it's unfortunate, but we're not saying don't go to festivals. I've been to a lot of festivals over the years and I still go now, slightly different festivals now because I take the kids. But you can still go and enjoy yourself, but you have to go with your eyes wide open, I think.
Yeah, definitely. In every situation, you've got to be realistic to what's going on, and then you can prepare best you can. And also that's in your subconscious and your forethought to go, okay, I need to be aware of that. That's
Yeah.
what's really happening. And that's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. That's the uncomfortable part about what we do and what we deliver in the education, is because we're looking at reality and the real statistics. And it saddens me that society, or some elements of society, are still like that. We're like, but
Yeah, it
that's just what
does.
it is.
And as a parent, kids aren't old enough to go to a festival on their own yet, but they may well want to do that. And I have to say, the thought of that really scares me, because this is like the last thing on their mind. So if you're a parent and you've got kids going off to festivals, this is an opportunity for you to get some information, to talk to them and have some real, honest, open conversations with them, and maybe share some of the statistics with them so that they go into it not just thinking about what band they're going to see and what drinks they're going to have and what they're going to wear, but also that extra element of, and how are we going to stay safe? So
Yeah, definitely.
we'll share a lot of that with you today.
Yeah, it's important just being on the same page and having an open conversation where you're not going to judge, you're not going to get upset, or, you're just going to, right, this is what's going on. This is like for adults, these are our experiences we've had. And hopefully you can make them more aware, and there's that good discussion as well. And also, we're a support backup team for them.
Yeah.
So if they do something daft and they're in the moment and something happens, then rather than them fearing us, they're going to get told off. It's like, no, we'll be there for you. We'll come and help you. And we're always here 24/7. Your personal safety and being safe is more important than, okay, you made a bad choice. It's looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. So we've got 3 core areas of festival safety that we're going to go through, just to help you categorize it and think, how are you planning in each of these areas? The first one is looking out for each other. Most people will be going along to a festival with some friends or family or a partner. So you're not going on your own. If you're going as a group, then it's about having those discussions together to plan in advance how you can keep each other safe. So have you got some tips in this area for people?
Yeah, I think understanding when you get there, what you're going to do, how your festival is going to look. Obviously understanding the dangers, and putting things in place that you agree on. So you look at, okay, what's happened before at festivals, good and bad, especially the festival you're going to, what you need to consider, and then having that open discussion to sort of go, right, we're going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're going to be aware of this, we're going to stick together. Yeah, buddy system's great, isn't it? Because you're looking out for each other, and you're potentially pointing out or looking for dangers that the other person might not have considered or realised that they've put themselves in.
Yeah. So by a buddy system, we mean, particularly if there's a big group of you going, let's say there's a group of like 6 or 8 of you going, then you might think that the other people are safe, or you might think they're with someone else, and they might think you're with someone else because you've not agreed and planned it in advance. And actually, some of you might, one or more of you might have got isolated and lost, or something might have happened. So it's about agreeing beforehand, right? I'll partner up with you, partner up with them. If you've got a 3, then there's 3 of you together, and then agreeing that you will stick together. So if one of you needs to go to the toilet, you all go to the toilet together. If one of you needs to go and get a drink, you all get a drink together, because it's so easy to get lost and separated at festivals. Particularly, we've got Glastonbury starting this weekend, absolutely huge festival. But even at smaller festivals, I've been to festivals with 4,000 or 5,000 people, and that's quite a small event in comparison. But it's so easy to get lost in the crowds, and particularly if if it's at night, you've had a few drinks, it can be really upsetting if you get lost. So just stick together, and you might not want to all go to the toilet together when the band's just about to come on, but it's about just planning together and really making sure no one gets isolated and no one gets left on their own.
I think that's reality as well, is, bad predators will look for that opportunity when you're away from your people, your crowd or your group. They'll try and, herd you off, if you like. And that's just being sensible, going, we need to stick together. Right, you go to the bathroom, like I always say, when you go to the public bathroom, that's like I've experienced. Know people have been attacked in pubs, pub toilets, nightclub toilets, because you're on your own. So it's like, don't be on your own. You've always got a second pair of eyes and ears looking out for you, watching things, because guaranteed they'll see stuff, or you'll miss stuff, or they'll miss stuff and you'll see stuff. And it's just that extra set of eyes and ears that are with you, that are looking out for each other. And especially going to the toilet or going for a drink, because that's so easy to get, not find your people. And then, where do you end up? And it can be quite, like you said earlier, just a minute ago, it can be quite overwhelming and upsetting, and, confusion as well. If you've been drinking or, taking something, then the confusion that you could have, not knowing where you are and unfamiliar area, another person with you can reassure you and you can work together.
Yeah. And I always think as well, at festivals, don't go for a nap in the tent on your own. That's just, for me, that particularly in the day, if most people are at watching the music, and you're feeling hungover or tired or whatever it is, and you feel tempted to go back to the tent and have a nap on your own, just don't do anything like that, because that is a prime opportunity for someone to maybe see you going back, or someone might be going around checking tents. I know people have had things stolen from tents, like drinks, just people looking for valuables. And if someone comes in your tent looking for stuff and sees a woman asleep on her own and there's not many people around, that's could be a really dangerous situation. So
I think as well,
be wary of that.
Realising with the buddy system, you're responsible for the other person and yourself, and vice versa. It only takes one incident to, totally wreck an event, an experience, and the lasting effects, can be damaging for life.
Yeah. We always say as well, designate a meeting point, and you might need multiple meeting points if you're at a big festival. So you might need a meeting point during the day, you might need one at night, depending on what area you're in. So get used to doing that, just in case, because things can happen. You can turn around, you can be together and you can turn around, and all of a sudden the landscape's changed. There's people have moved in to your area, or someone has just started chatting to someone, and then you find that you've lost them. So even with the buddy system, designate a meeting point and know that if you get lost, you know where you're going to go and you're going to find them then. Because you don't always get phone signal as well at these festivals, because there's that many people there using phones.
And also be realistic. It's like, okay, if we're at a festival and I don't see you for 15 minutes, that 15-minute time frame means after 15 minutes, I'm going to go to that point we discussed.
Mm-hmm. And what about knowing the layout of an event, of a festival? Why is knowing the layout such a big deal?
Yeah, because then you know where your tent is, where the toilets are, where the bar is, where the tents are, where the medical services is, that if you need them, if you need to get out of there, where the exits are. It's just a good thing to understand the layout of where you are, also to enjoy yourself. So, okay, I need to be in tent 1 for that band, I need to go in tent 2 for that band. And having, like anywhere, the more familiar you are with it, the more confidence you have in a sense of, where you are, where to go, how to navigate yourself around that area, rather than kind of just, lost and not sure.
Yeah, particularly finding out the medical points, just in case anyone gets ill, in case anyone gets their drink spiked, which is unfortunately a problem at festivals. We've got a blog on festival safety, which we'll link in the show notes, and we've got a clip in there, a video clip of 2 girls at a festival. They're actually filming themselves, and they're just kind of doing a selfie, looking around, and one of the girls is holding a drink. And as they are filming themselves, a guy walks past and drops a tablet in her cup. And it's honestly, I've got chills now just thinking of it. It can happen so easily. Also, I've seen a video of someone that got spiked. Well, it wasn't spiked. It was that someone offered them a go on their vape. they were kind of queuing for something, and someone said, "Oh, try this vape," and it was spiked, and this girl had a reaction to it, and she was on the floor having seizures within seconds, and she was really, really ill afterwards. So there's kind of two issues there. One is knowing where the medical tents are and how you can get help, being aware of, who you can ask, where's the security. And then the other one is being aware of spiking and making sure that you just never accept drink from strangers. Try using drinks covers, drinks toppers or bottles, but just being really, really wary of taking anything from anyone and just having your drink in your vision at all times.
Yeah, like you said, then realizing vapes can be spiked. You get syringe spiking as well as drink spiking. I suppose you can get food spiking as well. So
yeah, you can.
Yeah, it's just to realize you need to understand where stuff has come from and that it's been, somebody's been Well, you need to be watching over it, in my view. If it's your drink or whatever you're, eating.
Use a cover. You can get drinks covers. Yeah. Use one of those. It's just the safest way to do it. And then also Dean mentioned knowing where the exits are. That's important. If you look at this festival I mentioned earlier, Park Life, where there was a big fight broke out. Now, anyone who's ever been in a crowd situation where things get a little bit out of control or people start surging or it's a bit tight and people are pushing, the atmosphere in a crowd can change very, very quickly and you don't want to find yourself stuck. So if you know where the exits are, then if something does happen, you know how to get out and where to head to.
I think it's important as well with big crowds. I've experienced big crowds and things and you see things happening and it's movement change. You'll see everybody dancing and all of a sudden something will happen. It might be somebody falling out and then the crowd dynamics change and that spreads massively, super fast as well. So, the atmospherics of a place can change very quickly and it's understanding, if you see crowd movement, you go, okay, does that fit in? Well, no, everyone's dancing. All of a sudden some people stopped over there and then, it changes. You go, okay, do I need to make sure I can get to somewhere safer? Because, as probably we all know, when crowds move, people get, people fall over, gets trampled on and all sorts. So it could create that panic. So it's just understanding, what your options are.
Yeah. That kind of moves us on to the second area of festival safety that I wanted to talk about, which is situational awareness and trusting your gut. So you mentioned there just having an awareness of what's around you. We always say that self-defense is 95% awareness and avoidance. How can this help in a festival safety situation?
Yeah. Plugged into the vibe, I suppose, isn't it? I know, when I was younger, certain music creates certain emotions, can't it? And I've been to a techno event many years ago with a friend, and that was, wow. Some of the music in there was like, it's quite aggressive in my viewpoint. So it's understanding how that might change with who's playing on stage. If you had someone like Slipknot blasting out, people are going to be moshing, aren't they? They're going to be, because that's, what their fans kind of do, isn't it? They get in there and they mosh, the mosh pit or whatever, and it's very physical. So it's understanding, okay, this might be a point where I might need to move somewhere else because that's going to change the atmosphere and the dynamics of people's emotional, physical state as well.
Yeah. And I think as well, knowing that when you've got tight crowds and tight spaces, it gives cover to people who want to do something and then move away quickly. You can very easily be disguised in amongst a crowd. So I think being aware of that and being aware of people's behaviour around you, someone looking a bit shifty, also if people keep kind of turning up near you, it's like red flags like that to look out for.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because of the nature of a concert, an event, people will be close together. And obviously some people will take advantage of that because, that's them. Yeah, so it's just understanding, trying to keep some personal space as well. And if you're, for a guy, for me, if I was with, female friends, I'd be very aware of the guys around and go, okay, just, making sure somebody isn't getting too close. And if they are, maybe I need to get in between and, put that barrier between them and somebody else.
Yeah. And thinking about where you are in the crowd as well, because it's exciting to get up near the front, but if you are up near the front, you are going to be squashed in and you're going to have people very, very close around you. So that's your personal choice if you want to do that. It's not something that I want to do anymore. Now I'm older, I'd rather be kind of further back and have a bit of space around me. But it's just being aware of that. And I think that is where a lot of the groping and unwanted touch comes in, because unfortunately you get guys at festivals that do take advantage of young girls because everyone's pressed up against each other. And I guess it's trying to be aware of that, trying to move away, trying to set your boundaries, that if someone starts to do that to you, you're well within your rights to say, stop doing that. Draw attention to it from people around you, and there will be other good people around you that will help if someone's doing that to you, or just getting away from them and telling security.
It's that reality, if you go in the mosh pit, you know what to expect. You go to front of a crowd, it's going to be crammed, packed in, so it's that decision you make that, okay, if I do that, then these potentially I might be more at risk of somebody, trying to touch me inappropriately, or I might get squashed a bit or
but you can go and get squashed and pushed around or whatever, but you don't have to expect that someone should do that.
Yeah, it's not.
To you.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not. That's not acceptable.
It's still not acceptable. But that you're more at risk probably at the front than you are at the back, where there's space and you can get more distance between people.
And we always say as well, trust your instincts. So if you do feel like someone is creepy, or if you're walking back to your tent and you feel like someone's following you, even in a group, or you feel like a group of guys are following you, everyone has a sixth sense. And if you're getting a feeling that something is off, just listen to it. So take a change of direction, go to where security is, go to where there's more people, and then assess the situation and think, right, let's wait until they've gone. Let's just try something different or ask for help. Also, we have been saying, go and ask for help, go and ask the security if you're in trouble. And then this contradicts that a little bit, but it's also, don't rely too heavily on security, because unfortunately, not all of them can be trusted. I know, Dean, you know a lot about security, and you know a lot about how people can quite easily get into security and at large scale events. Yeah. And there have unfortunately been instances where the security have been the ones who have been doing the, sexual assault or whatever it is. I'm not saying don't use them, but you just need to have that awareness again that you can't 100% rely on them, unfortunately.
I think that's the reality as well. And as being in the security, or was in the security industry, it's licensed now better than it has ever been, but people still, slip through the cracks. And also, it's potentially a position of power or responsibility, and some people manipulate that. Like we've said before about, predators will be drawn to certain jobs because that presents an opportunity for them. And security is one of those things, so realizing they are still normal people, they're just in a role of security to help people, but it doesn't mean they're a good person. Like we've seen with police as well. There's a lot of good police, but there is bad police as well. So it's just realizing that and taking it on board and considering that as well.
Yeah. And then the third area of festival safety we want to cover is personal responsibility and just being ready and prepared, not being paranoid, but being prepared. So there are some things that you can do. One of them that we suggest is to get a personal safety alarm and to keep that on your bag in a place where you can pull it easily. Something like that can help if you are, for example, you're walking back across to your tent, hopefully in your group, and you feel unsafe. You could activate the alarm then. having it within the tent as well. So if someone comes in the night while you're sleeping, you can activate that very quickly and easily. Again, it has to be somewhere where you can grab it instantly. And it's just an extra thing that, you know, if you're in a tent, people will hear that. Whether anyone will come to help you, I don't know, but it should have have a deterrent effect if someone's come into your tent or someone's following you and there are other people around.
Yeah, alarm could be great. You could set it up on the zip of your tent, and if somebody comes in there accidentally, which I'm sure that happens, people are drunk and whatever, and I've got a wrong tent, that can obviously alarm you, someone's trying to get in, but also alarm the person to the wrong tent. And I know people could use a knife and, you know, cut the side of the tent and get in and stuff. Okay, you know, these are all things that can help, but there's never like 100% guarantee, is there?
No, there's not. Then also we mentioned drinks covers before, so make sure you buy those, take them with you. A lot of festivals sell them, but it's about being prepared, having everything with you and just making it as easy as possible. So get some covers for your drinks. Thinking about what bag you're taking that you're going to have with you around the festival in the day. So it's making sure that it's something that's not too big so that you're not dragging around a big bag, but you can get maybe a drink in there, your valuables, your phone. And we suggest as well a few first aid items just to make sure you've got something with you.
Yeah, and like any self-medication you need, you know, if you need an EpiPen or you need certain medications, make sure you've got enough of that. And it might be a case of, you know, the old 80s bum bags, keeping them on you. So, you know, if you need medication, would you leave it in your tent? It's one of those, isn't it? You kind of go, well, actually, if I need that and it's in the tent and it goes, I haven't got it. So, okay, is that a man bag? Oh, sorry, I'm speaking about, you know, man bag and woman bag, you know, person bag, whatever that is, you know, to have it on you. And then you got your main stuff on you. And also for me, I'd be like, okay, I'll take stuff, but if I have to walk away and leave it, it's no big deal. I might buy, have a bag especially for that. Just go, okay, if I lose it all, I'm okay, all right. That's just part of the expense of going to a festival, and it's, you know, old kit, or I'm not bothered about it.
And it's about making sure it's a bag as well that you can keep it zipped up and you can keep it at the front of you. So don't have it behind you, because if you know your bag's on your back and you're in it, you know, you're watching the band, then that could easily someone could easily get into that. And those bags you mentioned are actually back in fashion with the kids now, Dean. The bum bags, we used to call them in the 80s. I don't know what they call them now. They wear them across the body, across the front.
Oh, no, you go around the waist. I can dust mine off.
I don't think they'd wear them around the waist.
And the big baggy bodybuilding trousers you used to wear. Moving on.
So thinking about what bag you've got, making sure you've got everything on you. Some festivals have lock-up stations. Like I know Glastonbury have lock-up stations where you can put in your valuables. So you could put in half your money or your car keys if you're going by car, or anything that you think, if I did lose everything, what if I got in there? It's like a little backup. Maybe you write down a phone number. We suggest you memorise a phone number, although it takes a bit of effort to memorise a phone number. I've been trying to memorise yours, and I did manage to do it, but then I've not been using it, so I've forgotten it again. But if you can memorise a phone number, if you can write something down and put it somewhere, then if you do lose your phone or that gets stolen, you can at least get in touch with someone at home to say, I need you to come and pick me up. Because if your phone's gone and you've got no phone number, you're a bit stuck.
Yeah. Well, don't ask me to tell you what yours is, because I don't know it.
Right, I'm going to set you a challenge to start memorising it.
Look at us giving advice, and you take some of that as well. Definitely.
We mentioned earlier, don't leave valuables in tents. And just thinking as well about like your personal, I know you call it personal admin from your time in the Marines. You have to stay hydrated and all that stuff. He's always telling the kids, hydrate or die.
Yeah, you got to look after yourself. You know, your personal admin is your responsibility. You know, take your power back and go, right, I'm hydrated, I've looked after myself, I've had enough food, or, you know, whatever that is. You're responsible for you. I
Food,
know we have
sun
a buddy,
cream, all of that.
yeah, we have a buddy system, but that's like an overview. So that, but again, don't, keep looking after yourself always.
Yeah. So those are the 3 areas that we suggest you have a look at. And it's not about going into a festival feeling worried or scared. It's just about going in with your eyes wide open and making sure that you've done everything you can in advance to be prepared and have a really good time. Our advice to you then is to go through all of these areas that we've talked about, have a chat with friends, family, partner, whoever you're going with, and just make sure that you come up with something that works for you. Don't worry about it doing too much planning and thinking about these things and it kind of spoiling the atmosphere of it. It won't. It'll actually make it even safer for you if you do it in the right way.
I also think as well, somebody says, "Oh, you killed Joy. We're going to go and have some fun." It's like, if you're still listening and you're aware of the actual statistics, the latest statistics, and just ask that person, do you know the real statistics of what happens at festivals? It's like, you're not being a killjoy, you're being practical to go, we want to go to a festival, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy ourselves, but we still need to stay safe.
Yeah. So we've got 3 takeaways for you now that you can use to make your festival safer. 1, make a plan with your group. So get a buddy system in place, look at the layout of the festival, check your exits, decide on where your meeting points are going to be. 2, pack smart. So have you got an alarm, drinks covers, first aid, phone charger, water, those kind of things. And then 3, most important thing, I think, is to trust your gut. And if something feels wrong, act on it and act on it quickly. Don't wait. We haven't mentioned physical self-defense. That is an element here that can help you feel safer. If you want to learn the physical and other self-defense as well, we have got online courses. We've got one called Self-Defense Essentials, which is a 1-hour introduction, and you can learn very quickly some physical moves that will help you to protect yourself. If you want to go deeper, we've got 7-day self-defense for women, which is around an hour a day over 7 days. And if you haven't learned that, if you don't know the answer to how would I defend myself physically if someone was to attack me, then we would recommend that you get some training in that area so that you have got the tools you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, it's about becoming proficient in it as well. Investing your time is so important. This is a life skill, and how that can obviously share that with other people and obviously make people around you safer as well. So, the more you can learn, I think the more benefit is as well. And there's a lot more preventative measures as well in them courses to give you a real understanding of personal safety and all the other elements, like this, like, going to festivals.
Yeah. So if you are going to a festival, if you know someone who is, if you have kids that are going to a festival, we hope you enjoy it, have a great time. Please share this with people that need to see it. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so that you can get future personal safety and self-defense tips. Please give us a review if you found it beneficial. That really helps us be found by more people. And until next time, stay safe.